In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, welcome back my dear brothers and sisters in our next video, lesson planning. Why planning lessons is important? Actually, it's a guide for the day's lessons and ensures day-to-day activities and determines whether the class has met its target or not. Do we need lesson planning? Yes, because if you fail to plan your lesson, it means that you plan to fail it inside your class. Through lesson planning, the subject is organized properly and keeps the teacher free from the faults of thoughtless teaching. Make the proper atmosphere for learning process. The teacher also gets the clear idea about when they should start evaluation and when they should proceed to the next lesson. Helps in organizing the teaching and saving time, allow the teacher to apply appropriate strategy, and teacher will be more prepared and confident while teaching the lesson. If you are not confident, your students will lose their faith and they will start troublemaking, and you will lose your class management or class control. What are the characteristics of good lesson planning? Should be in written form, actually. Lesson plans should be in written form, and the general and important objectives should be clearly defined. Should relate to suitable teaching method, and its use reflects on content from the previous lesson. Subject, time, class, average age of the students should be mentioned in the lesson plan. Important examples should be included in lesson planning. Motivational methods should be experimented in lesson planning. The time for each topic should appropriately be predetermined. The techniques and teaching aids should be written to. Effective lesson plan. First, you have to state your learning objectives. It's important to have the learning objectives in mind because those should drive the development and implementation of all activities in the classroom. Teaching aids and activities. Quality questions are inquiries that the teacher plans to direct at the students over the course of the lesson. They are designed to help students think at a higher level than simple memorization and comprehension. Finally, the assignment or the assessment and evaluation that you are giving to give students so that you can assess or determine whether the class has met its targets or not. Objectives, goals, aims. Okay, the first thing a teacher does is to create objectives. An objective statement itself should answer what students will be able to do by the end of the lesson. Each objective must begin with a verb that states the action to be taken to show accomplishment. The most important word to use in an assignment is the verb, because verb states how to demonstrate if accomplishment has taken place or not. And actually use smart objectives while planning. SMART stands for S, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, relevant, T, time-based. Specific. Did you use clear, direct language to tell the learner what she or he will learn and do as a result of or after the lesson or not? Measurable. Is the task or practice quantified or can we measure it? Objective rather than subjectives. Can the students complete the task practice in the proposed time frame? Achievable. Can students complete the task or practice in the proposed time frame? Relevant. Does the task or the practice align specifically to the desired learning target? And time-based, when will this task practice will be accomplished? Now let's think for a moment, is that smart or not? By the end of the lesson, students will be able to write sentences in present continuous. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to know present continuous, which one is correct and which one is false. Great. Actually, the first one is the correct one. We use the verb to state what is our objective, is just to write a sentence. We can't say you will know. How can you measure their knowledge about learning present continuous? It's impossible. So, but you can actually measure or evaluate that they can write or not in present continuous. Number 2, warming up. What do students need to know before this lesson will be meaningful? Is the lesson appropriate for them? Have you considered their skill levels, age, and cultures? For example, an assumption before the model should is taught is student proficiency in the simple present tense and present continuous, for example. Number 3, strategies. How do you plan for your students to reach the lesson objective? What activities are you planning? What will you do in each activity? What will students do? What are the interaction patterns? How much teacher talk is involved? Estimate the amount of time each activity will require. Actually, new teachers frequently underestimate the time needed for concept checking and controlled practice, while they overestimate the ability of beginning language learning to work independently. Long sessions of independent reading or discussion are not feasible at lower levels. Number 4, anticipated problems. The potential problems that students will encounter during the lesson. Have you planned solutions for these problems? For example, if a grammar lesson includes the word this, that, these, those, the teacher can anticipate problems with the pronunciation of the sound and plan a brief pronunciation exercise as a solution. 5, teaching aids. You have to get ready with your teaching aids, whether you will need flashcards, you will need your student book or workbook, you will need a worksheet. Also, presentation. Number 6, presentation. You include your explanation, examples, narration of what you are going to do along the class. Number 7, the board summary. You will need to keep your board summary in your lesson plans so that you will save time and you plan how to keep your board organized for students. Evaluation questions. Of course, you need evaluation. And we said at the beginning, objectives must be achievable and measurable. How can you measure the students met their targets or not? You have to set evaluation questions. Then the home assignment. And when we say home assignment, it doesn't mean that you have to give students 2 or 3 papers as homework, that to be said that you gave them homework. No, actually it's enough to give them like a project-based learning or just a few questions to make sure that they are ready for the next session. If you liked the video, don't forget to please hit like, subscribe, and activate the bell. Thank you very much.